I was just realizing the other day I'm running a little bit short on 18650 cells for just random projects and whatnot. And then I remembered I used most of them on this battery bank thing a while back, and I actually knew where it was, so I went and grabbed it. I built this a number of years ago, before I knew about lithium battery protection and safety and all that stuff. And this is basically, I think it's like 8 or 10 of the small USB battery banks all mashed together. And I put all the lithium cells in parallel. So let's open this thing up and I'll show you how I got this dangerously wrong. These boards don't turn off. They constantly have a parasitic draw and they'll run the batteries low, which is fine in this case. I wanted these to become discharged before I took it apart and did it properly or repurposed the cells. Let me show you what I'm talking about, if it'll open. Yeah, all these cells are just in parallel, and the only protection they have is these boards down here, and both of those boards are also in parallel. So I'm gonna grab a meter real quick. Actually, I'll probably go out to the garage. I'm gonna grab a meter real quick and verify that these things have discharged. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess there's only 6 18650s in here. Basically just used all the existing tabs that connected the negative up to the top and then soldered onto those, and then put a bunch of hot snot all over the place in here. So we're going to take these things back out of here, check their voltage, charge them up individually, and then properly repurpose them. Now you can get away with putting 2 of these in parallel and it's fine, but I've got a whole bunch of power converter boards over here and there's some projects I want to make and a few things that I want to convert to lithium rechargeables. So these cells are going to be handy for that. But yeah, let's go out to the garage and probe around on this a bit before we go cutting anything. Here we have the thing of doom. And let's grab a random cheapy multimeter and let's check our voltage on this pack. I'm hoping it's pretty close to 0, which I think it should be at this point because this thing's been sitting for several years now. I'm just going to, I did a good job of sealing everything up here. I'm just going to probe across 2 points here. 2.49 volts. Okay, so that's not too bad. They're below the technical discharge level of lithium ion batteries, but that's fine. These things actually recover and they usually operate without a problem. So let's grab the old kit of stuff here. Most useful thing someone has ever sent me, by the way. Yeah, this little set of Craftsman pliers. I use it on almost every job I do. Let's go ahead and snip this out of here. There we go. Yeah, I bought a whole bunch of these cheap rechargeable USB battery banks from Fry's Electronics a number of years ago. They had them on sale at a Black Friday event, and they were like 39 cents each, which for these boards and an 18650 is like, you can't buy parts for that price. So let's turn on the soldering iron. I feel like I might need that. Oh, I just made a mount for my cell phone so I can finally attach that right here when I'm doing stuff in the garage. The clock is still about a half hour off. Ever since I got that clock, I've been trying to get it tuned to keep proper time. Although I haven't changed the batteries in it. Maybe I adjust it and the battery keeps getting lower. I don't know if it has a quartz crystal in it or not. Anyways, I digress. Let's clip a few of these out of here and get them. Yeah, we're not going to use the tabs anymore. So all of them are set so negatives on this side. So I'm not going to be shorting anything out in a way that's like bad, as if there is a good way to short things out. But all this glue and stuff should just pretty much pop right off of here. Usually this hot glue, you can just sort of get your pliers around it, give it a twist, and it'll pop right off. Of course, in this case, it's been on here a few years. Yeah, see? No problem. Although, it does kind of pull at the covering on the on the cells, so we might have to re-sleeve these things. But these haven't really been used, so I'm pretty sure they should recover and be pretty much fine. Okay, there's one of them. Yeah, see I'm gonna have to re-sleeve these things for sure. Let's check our voltage on this one real quick. 2.48. Right after I built this thing like 4 or 5 years ago, or whenever it was, I sent a picture of it to a friend, and I was like, hey, look what I built. And he immediately replied back, dude, you need to take that thing apart. That is super, super dangerous. And started explaining to me why. And that's where the old term, knowing enough to be dangerous, really comes into play. Because, yeah, it's like I had the skills to solder things together and understood, you know, basic circuit layouts and diagrams and stuff, but I lacked some key parts of the puzzle that had to do with not turning these things into little pressure chambers that can go thermonuclear on you at any moment without warning. Learned a lot more since then, but yeah, if you ever hear the term knowing enough to be dangerous, that's exactly what that's all about. It is a legitimate thing. So here we have 6 little cells. Not sure the capacity of them, but a much safer way to deal with these is to use these little battery holders here. And then you can put each one into there. And then you've got your wires coming off. And you can use these to build up your packs and whatnot. And it's a lot easier and or safer, perhaps, to deal with the cells in that form than to try and solder to them or spot weld on there or whatnot. Double check our voltage on all these cells here real quick. They should all be the same because they were hooked in parallel and they've been that way for a while, so they should have self-equalized. 2.48, 2.48. What do you know? They're all exactly the same. Perfect. I'm not sure if I still have some of the sleeving left to re-sleeve these things, but I'm going to take care of that before I do much else with these. And then, yeah, we'll get these things in the charger, charge them up, and I'm probably going to do a load test on each of these, or a capacity test, just to verify they're all still good and about the same capacity and everything. Then we'll be ready to use them in other projects. For those of you that are wondering, setting these up in a pack like that, setting these up in a pack like that in parallel is actually a very valid way to deal with it, with the one exception. They have these little lithium battery protection boards, and all you have to do is get one of those boards and basically solder it in line with like the negative on this. And those boards, they come in sheets with a bunch of them that you can just snap apart, but they wind up being like 30 cents each or something. And you put one of those on each cell, and then you wire the output of that to everything in parallel. Then you've got double protection because your charge controllers will pretty much always have some sort of cutout charge circuitry in them. These ones, can't see what's on the back because someone hot glued them in here. Oh wait, maybe. Let's see here, can I get one of these out without destroying it? Nope, they're glued in. Yeah, usually they'll have a little MOSFET or something on here, or some sort of switching to shut them off when they're done charging. But if you want to do this properly, each cell, or at the very minimum, each pair of cells, needs to have one of those battery protection boards put on there. They're super cheap. There isn't really an excuse not to do that. But now I know, and if I do this again, I'll have the skills necessary to do it safely. I really wish YouTube would let me play music that I like. I want to do, not a pirate radio station, but I think it'd be cool to do like a live stream with sort of a DJ style. I was just thinking, how many videos have started or had shots of me coming down this ramp and into the garage? I think a lot. For whatever reason, I'm putting this video on the second channel because, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, so we're still talking about these 18650s here. This just came in the mail. This is a USB LCD lithium-ion NiMH battery charger. Charge lithium-ion and NiMH batteries at the same time with different but suitable charging methods. That's fairly good English. OV activation, blah, blah, blah. Precisely cut off, current buffering, reverse polarity, flame retardant material. So this thing, I think, I don't know if this does capacity testing. It comes in a sack. Look at that. Now if this doesn't scream Japan, I don't know what does. You know those little backpacks that you just like throw over one arm and run around with it? Whoa, this thing's huge. Do these... It's a little bigger than I thought. That's okay though. What just fell on the floor? Ah! Oh, it doesn't come with a power supply. It wants you to run it off a USB? Seriously? Well, I guess we will use this Chromecast thing. I think it's 2 amps. 5 volts, 1 amp. I guess I'll just charge one battery at a time. Anyways, I was hoping this was like a tester that would tell me the capacity and everything of all these batteries. But if nothing else, at least we can charge them. Almost had to divorce myself there for a minute. Okay, so we've got... let's just stick a battery in here and see what happens. I think it's testing the battery or something, maybe. Oh, wait, is it charging? Yeah, this little number here is very slowly going up. I thought it was going to tell me what amperage it was charging at and stuff. 0 volts. Let's put another one in. So, this little gauge up here at the top moved when I plugged in this other battery. Let's see. I'm going to unplug it. Watch this little needle. It like bumped up and then went back down. Well, I'm just going to leave one of them in here for now because I'm only using a 1 amp power supply. We'll just let this sit for a while and see what it does. Oh, I guess it is showing the amperage output up there. Whatever. This thing is so huge. I mean, look at this. As I bump my joystick, look at the size comparison with my face. It's like as big as my head. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave that for a while, then I'll be back. See what it does. Actually, I'm gonna grab another power supply. Oh, wait. Where was that one? There was one the other day that I was like, oh, there it is. I was looking for that. Okay, I know where it is. BRB. This thing. It's a 4 output USB thing. It says 5 volts at 4 amps max. So let's hook this up and see if it does anything better or different. Alright, we're actually getting the, something's happening there. It says we're at 3 volts now. Oh, yeah, and check it out. This is pegged at the other side. We're cramming 1 amp into that thing, apparently. I don't know if that's too much. So I'm just going to leave it for a few minutes and see what happens, see if the battery gets warm. And yeah, I've got some more electronics test equipment on the way, like some USB battery analyzers and charge logs and all kinds of things, because I want to be able to see what the capacity of these cells are. And I think I have to drain them all the way down before I charge them or something like that, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. And checking back in, it appears as though our current has dropped down a bit. Our batteries are charging up some amount. Yeah, so the thing seems to be working. I don't really know any specs on this, and the instructions are not super useful. It just says, like, charge when you hook it up, basically. It seems to make a difference where you put the batteries in here as to how much amperage it uses, but I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna go through all these things and get them charged up, make sure they're good. And then I'm sure there'll be a few projects here soon where I'm making random stuff. I accidentally bumped it and it pegged back up to 1 amp, so let's see. I don't think we're... This is Fahrenheit, by the way. I normally use degrees science for things like this, but this thing's already set to that. Yeah, I mean, nothing seems to be getting, like, really hot or anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly believe that it's putting 1 amp into these cells, because if these are getting 500 milliamps each, they would definitely be a lot warmer than this. But, you know, as long as it charges the battery and maybe it has a benefit of logging the milliamp hours that it's stuffing in there. I mean, these gauges seem to move around and do stuff, so I don't know, whatever. It seems to be a thing, and it's definitely doing stuff, so I'll take it.